So welcome, folks. Nice to see the names in the chat. Um, my lighting situation is different. I uh, hmm, hmm, okay, I'm seeing some chat. Hmm, uh, okay. Um, did want to thank Rosie for sending this light to me. No overhead lighting. Can see my face more clearly, which may be good or not good. Um, but we're here to practice, and I'm happy to be together. And very, as always, significant love and loss in the chat there. So let us practice together. To fully contact our heart, we often need to relax. If you're sleepy, if it's late, can still actually relax, but counterbalancing the relaxation with a certain kind of, if you're sitting, expression of your spine reaching upwards towards the sky. Maybe take some fuller breaths, just kind of filling out your body with your breath. And we breathe and relax so that we might become more sensitive to love. kind of love that spreads. And the more settled and still we become, the easier the awareness takes the hue of love, kindness. No contracts with the moment, just offering your heart mind up to it. The posture of our heart is one where no matter what comes its way, pleasure or pain, we trust that it will become love. Can you put your heart in that posture? Just breathing into your heart center, kind of deep willingness to feel our life as it's constellating in this moment, its joy and sorrow. We sense the pains in our life, the knots in our heart, and just practice bathing them in care, kindness. Sometimes harder to believe from the inside, but you're no different than any other person, and pain is worthy of care, kindness. Maybe there's an image or word, a phrase that kind of catches the thread of your breathing, just letting your heart soften, be softened by life. It's almost like our breathing refines out some of the holding and pushing so that love catches the thread of our breath. Maybe starts to feel natural to intone the words. May I be well. May my heart be as wide as the world. May I take refuge in love. Abiding in care. If the attention meanders away from this theme of love, just forgive. Forgive yourself. Just re-establish yourself in this abiding, like all the cells of your body become animated by non-violence. The heart becomes aligned because it has no faith in hate or apathy. We go, maybe just for this minute, we go all in on love. Don't worry about the details of life right now. Just now, it's okay. In fact, very good to go all in. Love, kindness, compassion. even though we know it can never be, still makes a lot of sense to affirm the wish. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe and protected. May all beings know peace. Okay. So, uh, so I have a lot of very reasonable thoughts and a lot of kind of dumb thoughts. Uh, but my dumb thoughts generally don't get me into trouble anymore. And it's not that I sort of like listen to my reasonable thoughts and ignore my dumb thoughts. It's more the sense is like that I no longer ask my thoughts to do things for my life that thoughts can't do. And we ask, we ask our thoughts to do so much. When you get down to it, like, okay, how do they function in our life? And a lot of of beautiful ways, but we ask them to do too much. We ask thoughts to really game out and protect us from uncertainty, to digest emotionally painful experience, to make us feel good about ourselves, to provide meaning. And a question arose in a recent Sangha meeting that, um, the woman Sarah asked, what's the difference between reflection and rumination? And on the one hand, we can say just on, conceptual understandings of the Dharma are not themselves liberating, but there is a vital place for contemplation and reflection on the Dharma path. And we're instructed, often to hold the teachings in mind, to investigate and reflect, to recall the Buddha, the beautiful qualities of the Buddha, to recall our potential for awakening, to recall the kind of karmic reverberations of causing harm. We're asked to reflect on all of this thinking. But rumination gives thinking a bad name. And rumination, maybe we say, is a particular species of thinking that tries to accomplish what with words, what can only be accomplished with action, wisdom, letting go. So rumination defined in the clinical world as something like repetitive, prolonged, negative, very loopy thinking about oneself, feelings, one's current concerns, one's often, upsetting experiences, memory. And rumination is a little like the ruminative mind is looking for the last missing puzzle piece, except you're playing chess. Yeah. And sometimes rumination masquerades as kind of existential seeking. They sound like ruminative questions, sometimes sound like Dharma questions, but they're not. And it's known to kind of have some, compound suffering, magnifying and prolonging negative moods, interfering with problem solving, making people typically less effective in action, and reducing sensitivity to like changing conditions and the context and how to adjust. And so rumination is often when we look at it, it's sort of trying to use thoughts to make things go away. Often refuses the truth of dukkha, that there is suffering. And the ruminative mind is sort of obsessively looking for some dukkha-free pathway forward. And that just it doesn't exist, right? We will not, the ruminative mind is essentially trying to like outsmart the First Noble Truth. But it just keeps spinning because intuitively we know can't outsmart this. We keep thinking. Rumination fails to learn from regret and past disappointment. So our mind might be going over and over the past again, but it's not actually extracting actual wisdom. And there's a sense in me that until we've extracted the wisdom from the pain of the past, our mind just will not put it down. It will not put it down. Rumination's often a kind of rationalization of inaction. It feels like our thinking, we feel so busy thinking, so, kind of hermetically sealed off in the world of thought, and the thought is intense and busy. It feels like we're doing something. It feels like we're getting somewhere, and we're just spinning. We're not actually in the ruminative mode facing our problems head on, but in fact often avoiding feeling what needs to be felt. Maybe some disappointment of how something unfolded, or regret for the ways our own pain overflowed from our own heart, spilled into the lives of others. Maybe it's rumination is kind of like the way we avoid opening to the ambivalence that runs through the center of the world. Maybe our ego has been titillated in some way, and we're trying to smooth the story of self with more words, to kind of treat the wound of self with words. In other words, rumination's really trying to solve what is at base an emotional puzzle with thought. And the word means chewing, trying to digest suffering with our thoughts. But as I said, thoughts do not function well as digestive enzymes. Language is so, it's powerful and it's limited. Language is, it's kind of possessive and domineering. Language itself, words, thinking. This is Maggie Nelson. She writes, afraid of assertion, always trying to get out of totalizing language that rides roughshod over specificity, realizing this is another form of paranoia. Literary critic Barth found the exit to this merry-go-round by reminding himself that, quote, it is language which it is assertive, not he. It's absurd, he says, to try to flee from language's assertive nature by adding to each sentence some little phrase of uncertainty, as if anything that came out of language could make language tremble. Our stories don't tremble, they assert. And so what are we to do as practitioners? What are we to do? Well, first, Dharma practice is about perceiving the imperfection of thought. It's really vivid on retreat, but we can see it elsewhere. We perceive the kind of building up, the construction, the fabrication of this kind of world of thought that we temporarily inhabit, that we often can't see beyond the horizon of that land. And then, because we're paying attention, we see that world collapse. And when we see that enough, with enough vividness, we do not forget the emptiness of thought. We might have to see it 1,000,000 times. but then we become like just slightly estranged from all words. We digest feeling by feeling. That's what it is to be mindful of feeling, is to feel. And this is really equanimity, the development of this kind of supple relationship with emotionally charged body sensations. And my sense is that we must be willing to actually um, to feel our way through something if we're to extract wisdom from pain. Rumination thrives on avoidance, and mindfulness is it's an approach. The orientation is one of approach, gently in our own time, with a lot of support behind us, but an approach. Sometimes that support is love or sangha or faith, but we, in our own time, approach. Sometimes the antidote to rumination is just like, because it's such quicksand, that to even direct attention to it, to try to be mindful of it, to try to let go of it, to try to work with it in any way, it's like a kind of gravitational force field that just keeps pulling us under. And so we do something else. We do something else. Maybe move our body. One of my teachers, Shinzen Young, said sometimes equanimity is expressed not by being with something, but by being able to put it down, being able to put something down. That's a different species of equanimity. But when we allow something to become distant background, that's not avoiding, that's a kind of species of equanimity. And sometimes to break the inertia of the mind, we just must act. We do something, anything that moves against the quicksand. And maybe lastly, I should note, like, spiritual friendship. This is the ruminative mind often needs company, the stability of another, stability of their heart. So reflection, rumination, offer this for your consideration. Okay, so yeah, appreciate being with you, thinking of you, Elaine, in the chat. And I'll be doing Gil's morning thing, 7 a.m. next week. So I'll, those 5 days I'll do something. And I think something kind of like Dharma and interpersonal life, the kind of relational Dharma. And I'll be back next week at this time, certain Wednesdays. It is a certain Wednesday next week, the 11th. And I send you all warm wishes. Okay.